Hey guys, now I told you guys in my last video that I was going to show you guys all the Blu-rays of the 2015 releases that I have bought. So basically the 2015 films that have been worthy to be put in my Blu-ray collection. Some of them may not be worthy, but I just enjoy watching them even though I know that they are not the greatest movies, but just something about them I just really like. So let's start with how many do I have now? I don't want to reveal them all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Only 12 movies from 2015 I have bought on Blu-ray. So let's get on to the first one. I'm doing these in alphabetical order. So the first one for alphabetical order is probably one of the most underrated movies of the year for sure, and that is The End of the Tour. The End of the Tour is a fantastic movie. It's a true story about the author David Foster Wallace, who is played brilliantly by Jason Segel. He gives the best performance of his entire career, and I really do think that he deserves an Oscar nomination. This is definitely one of the best male performances I have seen all year, and definitely in the past number of years. Jason Segel knocked it out of the park in this movie. He gave it his all, and he was terrific. And Jesse Eisenberg, who plays an interviewer for Rolling Stone, he stays with him for a few days to learn the mindset of this great author. And they worked so well together. A very well written screenplay. Definitely great chemistry between Jesse Eisenberg and Jason Segel. And it's overall a great movie to watch. So I definitely recommend you buying this movie on Blu-ray, even renting it just to watch it. You definitely should see it. Definitely didn't get as much buzz as I hoped it would get, but it's still a great movie. It's on Blu-ray for very cheap. I got this for, I think, 15 bucks, so it's a little cheaper than most new releases of Blu-ray, so I definitely think you should get it. Next up is a movie that I talked about in my last video for a little while, and that is Ex Machina. Ex Machina is a great thriller. It's definitely one of the best movies of the year for sure. Definitely in my top 10 range. I loved Ex Machina. It's just such a great story. Very thrilling, very fun. And of course you get brilliant performances by Alicia Vikander. I really hope I pronounced your name right. And Oscar Isaac blew it out of the water in this movie. This guy continues to impress me. He's definitely one of the best people acting in Hollywood today. And I can't wait to see him. And also Domhnall Gleeson, they're both going to be in Star Wars The Force Awakens, so I'm really excited to see them in that movie, and because they were absolutely terrific in this movie. It's definitely a great story. It definitely seems like a story that you would see out of something that's sort of Kubrick-esque, but not really, but definitely a very fun sci-fi thriller, and it's definitely a fun movie to watch. Highly recommend Ex Machina. Next out is probably the most surprising movie that I have on Blu-ray. Well, actually, no, it's not most surprising, but I was surprised on how amazing it was, and that was The Gift. I loved this movie. I had, somewhat high expectations just because I love mystery thrillers, but this just surprised me and knocked me out of the park. I was so shocked on how amazing this was. I loved almost every second of this movie. I've watched this movie multiple times in theaters and since I bought this on Blu-ray. It's such a great thriller, and of course Jason Bateman, he's one of the biggest highlights of this movie. He was fantastic in this movie. Definitely the best performance of his career. Rebecca Hall was also great, and Joel Edgerton, he wrote, directed, and starred in this movie, and he did it perfectly. He was awesome as a writer, amazing as director, and great as the stalker creepy guy who they are sponsoring him as, which he did it greatly. He could have easily fucked it up, and he did it greatly. Definitely one of the best screenplays I've seen all year. I was into this movie every second. My eyes were glued to the screen the entire movie. Definitely watch The Gift. And next up is the only movie I've given an A+ in my reviews. The other was Steve Jobs, which I did not get a chance to review, is Inside Out. Pixar is back, and they came back hardcore with Inside Out. Sorry, I got mixed up with words. I'm very tired. I'm sorry. But definitely the best Pixar movie since Toy Story 3. I loved Inside Out. This is what Pixar is all about. Not Cars 2, not Brave, or not even Monsters University. Inside Out is so creative, so fun, and definitely hits you right in the heart. I cried twice during this movie, and I still cried when I rewatched those parts more than once. Still, I get teared up in those scenes. Pixar is the only animated company that can hit me that hard. I love Inside Out. I could watch this movie over and over and over again. It makes me feel like a little kid again. It's definitely got Pixar has this vibe that just makes you feel like a child, because every time I watch Toy Story or Toy Story 2 or even Toy Story 3, I always feel like I'm a little kid watching it on a VHS. I'm holding on to all the Toy Story toys that I have when I was a little kid. I owned all of them. No joke. But definitely watch Inside Out. Definitely a great animated film that better win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. and of course my favorite horror film of 2015. Loved this movie. If you watched my review, you know I did. It Follows. This just brought back the stage to like classic, like a mix of John Carpenter type horror, because the score definitely reminded me of that. And also, fun story about this. I found like all the locations where they were filming so much stuff in this movie, because I live in Michigan. They filmed this whole movie in Michigan, and so I was driving around and I was like seeing all the cool stuff that they were using in Inside Out. Like, and it's so cool because even watching the movie, like, oh, I've been there and I've been there too. I know where they are. It's so cool to watch. And David Robert Mitchell, underrated as hell, directing this movie. He did it fantastically, and I really hope that they give him more of a budget, which I mentioned in my review of the movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But Inside Out, definitely a great horror movie to watch on any time. You can watch this anytime. I watched this like a bazillion times during October, because just for Halloween standards, this was definitely a great film to watch. Definitely a great story about the whole, if you have sex, if you have sex with a certain person and this thing's gonna follow you, and all you can do is pass it on to someone else, which is kind of, I was thinking, was a metaphor for STDs, but it was so cool. I was creeped out by this movie. It was intense. My eyes were glued to the screen the entire film. I loved the characters, except for one, which you saw in my review. But no matter what, I still loved It Follows, and I cannot wait to rewatch this movie more. And you definitely should watch this movie, especially if you're a horror movie fan, because this is the best horror film that you're going to see in 2015. Next up is a film that I just had an absolute blast with, and that's Jurassic World. This movie definitely had a lot of issues, mostly including CGI. They really, I think, should have used practical effects. It would have looked a lot more believable. It would have been a lot more cool, because there was another movie that I have that used practical, and it turned out a lot better. You can probably guess what it is. But Chris Pratt was awesome in this movie. Chris Pratt was so badass, and I'm really excited that they're using Chris Pratt as an action hero. It is so cool. I love Chris Pratt. He's such a great person. Just all the interviews I see with him, every like behind the scenes shit, he seems like so cool and so relaxed. I would love to spend the day with him, which I said in my other video too. But overall, this was a very fun movie, a great thrill ride. What you would want in a Jurassic Park sequel that is not Jurassic Park 3. Fucking hate Jurassic Park 3. I have Jurassic Park, I have The Lost World, don't have Jurassic Park 3. Basically the only reason why I didn't buy the whole collection Blu-ray, so I did not say, I own Jurassic Park 3 on Blu-ray. That's how much I hate Jurassic Park 3. But I love Jurassic World. The next movie I have is another movie that surprised the hell out of me of how good it was. Such a fun action film, such a badass blast. Badass blast. It's a very weird thing to say, but overall, it's Kingsman. Oh my god. The trailers marketed this as such a stupid, typical spy movie stink bomb. And then when I saw this was rated R, I'm like, wait, really? And then I see it's directed by Matthew Vaughn, who did Kick-Ass, and I'm like, okay. Now I'm more excited. And after I walked out, that movie was bad freaking ass, and it was. I loved Kingsman. It is such a blast, so badass. Colin Firth especially was awesome in this movie. And I'm not usually the biggest Colin Firth fan in the world, but I loved him in this movie. And Michael Caine, of course, was great. Tanner something, I cannot remember his name. They don't have his name in the back of it, which is stupid. He's the main character. And Samuel L. Jackson was, of course, funny with the stupid lisp as the villain of the movie. It was so great. Kingsman is definitely a fun ride, and you should definitely watch it whenever you can. Next is what is, in my opinion, the most underrated movie of 2015 by a long shot, and that is Love and Mercy. I love this movie. It's like a practically flawless film. After like a few more viewings, I think I gave it an A+. When I saw it, I gave it an A. But I think the more times I watch it, the more I like it. There's just something new that I discover every time I watch it. And it's just, like, plus I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. And even after you watch the movie, you're going to get more addicted to the Beach Boys, which I definitely have. I still listen to Pet Sounds, like, all the freaking time. This shit is awesome. And because this film basically follows the album of Pet Sounds and the tortured mind that Brian Wilson had. And this movie really shows how much Brian Wilson was really going through. And John Cusack and Paul Dano portrayed those absolutely perfectly. They were amazing in this movie. And I really would wish that one of them would get an Oscar nomination, but they probably won't, because this movie got just thrown under the bus and just yanked the rug out from under them, and no one really knows this movie, because I don't see any big critics reviewing it on YouTube. I haven't seen a Chris Stuckman review of it. I don't know if you saw it. Schmoes, Chattel Bash, Jeremy Johns, none of them. I really wish that I will get some more viewpoints on Love and Mercy, because I think it's amazing. And I want to see, maybe I love it and not many other people would love it as much as I did. Definitely all my friends did, my brother did, but I loved Love and Mercy, and I really hope that you guys would too. The next movie I have is definitely the most badass movie of 2015, and in my opinion, the best action film that I have seen all decade, and that is Mad Max Fury Road. Jesus! This movie is awesome. This was so much better than everyone thought it was going to be, and I just loved Mad Max Fury Road so much. I definitely thought it was going to be good, but nothing like this. This is definitely one of the best action movies I've ever seen in my life. It's amazing, so badass. Tom Hardy portrayed Mad Max perfectly, a great replacement for Mel Gibson, and George Miller coming back as the director made this even better, because if someone else directed it, it would not have been as good. And another reason why I love this movie so much, practical effects. They use practical effects, not dumb CGI crap. Jurassic World, take some notes. Not dissing you, Jurassic World. You're still a good movie. But not as good as Mad Max Fury Road. My apologies. But man, loved every second of Mad Max Fury Road. So badass, so much fun. You can watch this any second of any day. Watch Mad Max Fury Road. It's amazing. But also make sure to watch the first 3 original Mad Max movies first, because those movies are amazing as well. These last 3, I'll be honest, you're going to be shocked that I have. But just something about these movies have a rewatchability factor to me. I really enjoy watching them, and I've watched them plenty of times since I bought them. And the first one that I have here is Paper Towns. I actually really enjoyed this movie. There was a lot of differences in the book too, and then when there's differences in the book, I don't like the movie as much, but I actually really did enjoy the movie. I thought it was a great ride. I thought there was great chemistry with all the characters between Nat Wolff and Cara Delevingne. I do not know how to say her last name. And of course the 2 friends that he has who goes with him to find Margot. They worked great together as well. Sorry, I mentioned earlier I'm tired. But I really enjoyed this movie. Definitely a fun movie to watch, just when like you're bored, have nothing to do. And I've definitely watched this quite a few times since I bought it. There's just something about this I just really like. I don't know. The final 2, and the first one I have here is I reviewed both of these movies, so like some of you may be like, I can see why he bought it. This one you'll definitely see more. And that's the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. It's because I fucking love SpongeBob, and I was really shocked that this was actually hilarious. I thought this was gonna be totally stupid. Like, I was really not looking forward to this movie at all. I was like, oh, that's going to ruin SpongeBob, just like the past 5 years of it on being on TV has ruined SpongeBob for me. But I had a blast with SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. And I was really happy that they did not have the whole movie like that with this weirdo animation. They had mostly the regular SpongeBob animation, which I thought was a lot better. I was really happy about that. But I really enjoyed it. It's very funny, especially for SpongeBob fans. If you're not a SpongeBob fan, you're not going to enjoy it. And if you're not a SpongeBob fan, you didn't like it, I can understand. But if you're a SpongeBob fan, you'll totally have fun with this movie. All of my friends who I've showed it to thought like, oh, this was gonna be a piece of shit. I'm like, oh, trust me, it's actually good. And I showed it to them. Wow, it was actually funny. And they laughed a lot when they watched it. So if you're a SpongeBob fan, just watch the sequel. It's actually good. And the last one that I have is definitely gonna shock a lot of you, and that is Unfriended. Yeah, I actually enjoyed this movie a lot. Like, I just like something about it is really fun. It's definitely got a lot of flaws. Definitely a lot of parts of it is really a dumb piece of shit horror film. But it's got its fun elements to it, and I like watching it with a group of friends. And when we all watch it, we laugh. Some get scared. It's really funny, and it's very fun to watch, especially with just like if you're at a party and your friends have nothing to do. It's very short. It's a fun ride, and I enjoy watching it with a group of friends. Not definitely watching it alone. Not really. Like, not just because, oh, I'm scared, it's just because it's not really that fun. But, yeah, that's all the Blu-rays that I own that have been released in 2015. There definitely going to be more to come, because this is the season of the great movies. And one of them that I saw last night is definitely one to talk about, which is going to be my next video, and I'll be reviewing that to you very soon. I'm Lucas Stringer. We'll see you guys later.